Thanks so much, Sue. Thanks for everyone for joining us on such a gloriously sunny day. Thanks for whoever brought the weather, maybe Maya from California. So we appreciate the sun. I have an almost childlike excitement about today, and I hope you all do too. So it's a real privilege to be able to chair today's opening session. So first up, we are going to be starting with Dame Asha Khemka. Dame Asha comes from humble beginnings in rural India and has developed into a celebrated leader in education. And I'm not going to give too much of a spoiler because she's going to share some of that journey today. But she's received many accolades, is extremely well respected and known in the field, having been appointed OBE in 2009 and a Dame in 2014. We're really excited. It's the perfect way to kick off an inspiring journey today. So without further ado, you're not here to hear me, we're here to hear you. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just delighted to be here. I feel privileged that I'm going to be sharing my journey through leadership. India made me, Britain enabled me. Before I start, I just want to say, sun is shining, you are all looking gorgeous, and we are looking for excitement all day long. People often ask me, who is my inspiration? And I think about those great leaders who brought nations together fighting injustice, like Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. However, what I feel, the inspiration comes from within. And leadership is a state of mind, our inner confidence, our self-belief. Those are the things who drive change. And I'm so proud that I'm standing here to share that with you, my journey. As Dr. Carey said, I was born and brought up in a small village on the border of India and Nepal, in a very loving family. We didn't have wealth, but we ate well, we spoke well, and we dressed well. Unfortunately, my mother died when I was 12. She was not well. And as a result, I had to take over the responsibility for household, looking after my 3 brothers, and the leadership started in earnest at that point. I do believe we, us women, have these leadership traits very early in life as daughters, sisters, then wife, mother, and it's evolving process. It goes on, continues. What happened next? I was married when I was 15-year-old to a first-year medical student. We had not seen each other, we didn't know each other. It was an arranged marriage. And I was entering my in-laws' house for the first time with a big veil on. That was the family and cultural tradition. Unable to see what was around me, total darkness inside, and it felt like my destiny was already written. And life moves on very quickly. 3 children arrived in 3 years. That brought a very different, dynamic challenge, joy, and inspiration. My children, they are my total inspiration. They inspire me every day. Young people inspire me every day. And my husband has been a rock behind me to support me throughout my journey. We moved to the UK. As a junior doctor, he wanted to do his further studies here in the United Kingdom. So in 1978, we came here with 3 kids and 3 pounds and started a life, a new life in a foreign land. We were traveling from Heathrow to Birmingham in a coach, and I remember I saw snow for the first time. I saw white faces for the first time, and believe me, everybody looked the same. I didn't speak English. I had hardly had any education, unaware of culture. So I started watching television and children's program, play school. This is how I learned English. I made mistakes with fellow mothers in the school, wherever, and I was never afraid of making mistakes, making fool of myself. This is how I learned English. Life was tough. Tough because there was so much new. Every day was a day of learning. Language, culture, processes, systems, prejudices, deep-seated a lot of the time. But I was determined to take every challenge as opportunity, and I started a new life in this country with my family, with a new strength, a new focus. We were moving from place to place every 6 months, as junior doctors have to go through their training, changing schools, changing hospitals, changing homes. But again, that didn't matter. I was making new friends and getting adjusted to new environments, learning new things. I used to claim at that time that every day I'm wiser. Every day I have got something, I've learned something new. And that was absolutely true. I haven't got time to go through these photographs. I'm just showing you for your interest. And then children were doing extremely well at school. They got scholarships. Boys got scholarships to Harrow School. We couldn't afford to send them because I was not working, and you know how much doctors earn. I don't need to tell you. So, and Shalini, my daughter, she got scholarship to Morton Hall. Then I came out of the house, started to learn, started to educate myself, started with a typing course, thinking one day I'll be able to help Shankar in his private practice. Never looked back. Moved on, did my degree from Cardiff University in my early mid-40s, almost with my kids. And that was a transforming moment. It was a key moment in life. Education transforms life, it did mine. And I want to say this to you, you are so fortunate to have this university education. Mine came later in life, after crossing so many hurdles. But that was a transforming moment for me to start my leadership journey in a different way. I was hungry for a job, and I went to a college. We were living in Oswestry, and I walked to the local college, and I spoke to the receptionist. I said, "My name is Asha Khemka. Can I see your principal, please, because I'm looking for a job?" And she laughed. She said, "Ma'am, it doesn't happen like that. The jobs are advertised and you have to apply." I said, "No, I know that, but I still want to see your principal." And I wouldn't take no for an answer. The principal came out and he put his hand out and said, "Hello, my name is Sean McLaughlin. Who are you?" I said, "My name is Asha Khemka." And he said, "I've been overhearing you from the back. Let's go in my office and have a chat." So we went and sat down, chatted, and then he asked me, "So Asha, tell me, what's your ambition?" And I paused for a second, and then I said, "Mr. McLaughlin, I had never thought about this, but seeing you in that chair, I want to be in your chair one day." He completely jumped off, and then he said, "I can see your ambition and drive start tomorrow." This is how I got my first job, and that was a defining moment of my career and where we were moving. I progressed through the ranks, working hard, always focused, took jobs others wouldn't, proving myself every day, proving above and beyond. And the real challenge came when I wanted the top job. When I was ready for the top job, the deep-seated prejudices in the boardroom were getting in the way, and I was suffocating inside a bottleneck. It was almost like giving up, but I was not there to give up. And therefore, I carried on, did more, and proved myself I'm 100 times better than the person next to me. This is how I got my first principal and CEO job at West Nottinghamshire College in 2006. And this is where, obviously, the leadership thought continued in a different way. Running the business, leading the business, I was at the helm for 12 and a half years, serving communities of North Nottinghamshire. Devastated impact as the closure of mining and textile industries, 3-4 generations of worklessness, young people with no hope, low levels of skills, low levels of education attainment. And there was a big challenge. I sat in my office one day and I thought, how am I going to lead this and change the face of this community and the organization? I surrounded myself with the best team. Together, we embarked on a journey with a clarity of purpose, a single vision ownership, single mission, one direction, and where the good was not good enough. We developed leadership at every level in the organization, a bit by bit. We changed the infrastructure. All 5-6 campuses were rebuilt. Not immediately, it took time. I was mad, I was obsessed for communication. I was creating partnership with employers, businesses, key influencers, community leaders, students, staff, everyone, to make sure we do what we are supposed to do in raising the aspirations of the communities. And as a result of that, we were offering courses for employability. We enhanced our academic provision, and our numbers grew from 150 apprentices to 14,000 in 5 years, and the student numbers to 23,000. That was a very, very proud moment. It just didn't happen just like that, I'm saying, you know that. These photos are the representative photos of my connectivity, partnership, and how we moved forward. Our advocacy was far and wide, not just local, regional, national, but international. And in all these photos, I want to share 2 things with you. Number 1, I was serving national education policies. I was accompanying prime ministers, ministers as ambassador on their trade missions to different countries. I was getting known because I was bold. I will ask questions, never be afraid of things which I don't know, but I always had the information at the cuff of my hand so that I can say something. Other moment which I want to say here is there is a photo here with the past president of India. The then Dr. Abdul Kalam was the president of India in 2007, and I had a call to meet him. I couldn't believe my luck. I was so immensely honored and proud to meet him. He was not a politician, he was a teacher, a scientist, and we had chat. During our discussion, we spoke about igniting young minds and education. Dr. Kalam had written many books, and we spoke about one of his books called Indomitable Spirit. In this book, he says something like this: you have to evolve yourself and shape your life. You should write it on a page, and that page may be a page of discovery, innovation, or fighting injustice. And you will be remembered for creating that one page in the history of the nation. And he asked me, so Asha, tell me, I know a lot about you, I know about your college, I know what you do, what's your page? And I said, sir, my page is the page of learning, lifelong learning. I left him totally mesmerized, inspired, and I think often about him and what he had to say. During this period, it was nice to see young people growing in confidence, moving to a positive destination, getting meaningful employment. Our higher education students, for the first time, were getting admissions to good universities, Nottingham, Birmingham, York, Leeds, and some, for the first time, started to apply to Oxford and Cambridge. When I look back at my career, one thing which I'm really proud of is the regeneration of the communities I served. I'm so happy to continue this leadership journey in different roles, including being a Deputy Lord Lieutenant of Staffordshire. Regularly, I do citizenship ceremonies, and it's a delight to share my story with those people who sit there who look like me so many years ago, and they are ready to embark on their new travels. The photo here, I want to just say I was again very, very proud to lead the proclamation for King Charles when the Queen passed away. I was also honored to make a personal tribute to Her Majesty, and that was aired on ITV. And that tribute was because I met her so many times. And just very small incidents, I was invited for private lunch. And I couldn't believe why. So I said to my secretary, don't joke with me. And she said, no, yes. Yeah. Anyway, I went there, I met her. We had dinner, 6-course meal. I'm vegetarian, all was prepared. Her Majesty liked good helping. She was helping herself. And she kept on saying, Dame Asha, Dame Asha. So I said to her, ma'am, please don't call me Dame Asha, I'm Asha. And she says, we made you a dame. I better call you dame. And the stories are all there. Anyway, let me move on. So coming back to India made me, Britain enabled me. That's my story. I'm a proud British Indian, proud of my Indian heritage, and indebted to Great Britain for giving me life-enhancing opportunities. This title came when in 2015, I was attending a conference. David Cameron was there presenting awards, and I was asked to go on the stage to receive Woman of the Year award. I was not prepared. Off the cuff, I had to give a speech, and I said, This can only happen in Great Britain. Regardless of your race, gender, starting point, who you are, if you are determined, if you have ambition and drive, positive energy, you can go wherever. The sky is the limit. And ladies and gentlemen, I said to the crowd, there were lots of politicians sitting in the room, not to please them, but the truth. India made me. I'm through and through Indian with values, and I'm through and through British because what I have learned and the way I have moved forward. Writing my autobiography has been very emotional. Going down the memory lane chapter by chapter, reliving those memories has been overwhelming. Ups and downs, sorrows and joys, pleasures and setbacks. We have been through a lot. Every family does. We had our fair share. Because of the family support, because of friends' support, we got through that. But the message you will see in the book, if you get a chance to read, is it's not a story of not just mine. It's a story of togetherness, perseverance, resilience, determination, never taking no for an answer, and above all, unwavering self-belief. On that note, I will say this. You know, there is leadership, and then there is leadership that inspires others. Eleanor Roosevelt, the former First Lady, she said, "A good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves." And it is so true. This has been the value I have lived throughout. Narendra Modi, the current Prime Minister of India, India is going places. The progress is just unbelievable. Becoming the fifth largest economy, no, not the fifth, sixth largest economy, and whatever the intellectual capacity and the progress. He says each of us has a natural instinct to rise like a flame of a lamp. Let's nurture the instinct. I want to leave you finally with this. Your starting point does not define your destiny. Your determination and fearless courage and your unwavering self-belief does. Thank you very much.
Perfect, not just timing, but just perfect as an opener. Thank you ever so much. That was incredibly inspiring. I'm so excited to have the commonality of having started UK education with the icon that's Floella Benjamin and Play School with you. So, so that's an incredible story. I think we're all so taken with the idea of just marching in and saying, you come out of your office and give me a job, and we're all going to use that. So a question on Slido is related to that. If you could go back and talk to your 12-year-old self, what would you say to her?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because, you know, everything has evolved. Everything has happened. How can I say to myself when I was 12 what is going to happen? None of this was planned. None of us even dreamed. Things happen because you continuous journey, and you do the best you can, and you live the values which you hold. And this has been the story. So what I will say to the 12-year-old Asha Agrawal at that time, be as you are.
Be as you are.
Be as you are.
I mean, that be as you are and that self-belief has been really apparent in your talk, but you can't have had that at all times. There must have been moments in your life and career where you've had moments of self-doubt. How have you?
I had
how have you
self-doubt
kept that?
coming on the stage.
Coming on this stage, no one believes that for a second. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
telling you.
So how do you, in darker moments or moments of doubt, how do you bring that back, that feeling of self-belief?
The principle which I apply, what has happened you can't change. You can't worry about the future. So live the present the best you can. Life is short. And yes, there are dark moments, and you don't know how you are getting out of this. My family, my children, my husband, I've talked about him. I don't know how to thank him, honestly, the way he has supported me. So if there are men sitting here listening to me,
Matt. Hi, Dr. Thompson.
Yeah. So, does that answer the question?
Absolutely, and that allyship is so important. I think no woman is an island, no person is an island.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We wanted you up first.
However, I don't let anybody know that I'm not secure, even though I'm not secure inside.
That's the swan on the surface and the paddling beneath, isn't it?
Yes.
So we wanted you up first because when people have moments of self-doubt, we wanted to say, but everyone can make it, because when we look at your humble beginnings, it's just all
Anybody
inspiring,
can do it.
your journey. We're also here to think about empowering the next generation. So how can we do that? Those of us further in our careers and have had opportunities, how can we empower the generation coming through behind us?
I mentor women, and a lot of the time they come to me and they say, we were in a meeting and we were not given the chance to speak, or when we were speaking, we were ignored. And I probe them, I ask them the same question and again, and then I say to them, it's your own fault. Why did you allow this to happen? If you do not allow this to happen, it does not happen. About women, we are lucky. The girls nowadays, they are so confident. Majority of the time I see that. Even in my students, I could see girls were more confident than the boys. Boys start to get more confident when they grow up. So how do we inspire young women? By just saying to them, be yourself, have your self-belief. The 2-3 things which I would say: self-belief, self-reassurance, never taking no for an answer, and work hard above and beyond. If you are asked to do a job, don't do the job. Just do that extra bit on top. And this is what I did every time. And a lot of the time, genuinely, there is discrimination. Genuinely, there are prejudices. But how do you overcome that? You find a different way of taking a positive message. So I'll give you one example. When I was applying for my principal's roles, I was going for interviews and no luck, no success. So I looked at myself. Is there something wrong with me? Because so far everything has been good. So what is wrong now? And when I looked at myself, I thought, no, I need another stepping stone. I need to have more skills, more knowledge about a wider aspect. Only then, probably I will be ready to tackle this huge responsibility. So sometimes, although those things are genuine, but you examine yourself and do something above and beyond.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Thank you. Now, those are the questions on the slider. Do we have any questions in the audience? Oh, it's filled out more. Hi. Would anyone like to come up and ask a question? Or is everyone just awestruck? Awestruck! Okay, in which case, thank you so much for a really amazing opener. We're really delighted that you could join us. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.